It's now 10 to 5 and it's currently that temperature and 16.7 degrees. So it's gone up. It was 13 this morning, and I've left this far too long. I should have done this much earlier on in the day. Well, I thought, you know what? I'll put a jumper on. I'll have a cup of coffee, and think warm thoughts. See how long I can go without lighting a fire. And the answer is, I should have done it quite some time ago. I am debating having a bath, because if I did that, soak in the tub, that would warm me up and that would keep me warm for a few hours. Hot water bottle as well, that could work. Cup of soup, don't really feel like having soup. I think I've had enough liquid today. I certainly don't feel thirsty. But I think the main thing I need is a fire, because this floor is so cold that even with my immense high quality shoe zone trainers, and the thick socks, I can still feel the cold through them. I thought to myself, oh, you know what, I'll just sit in front of the main boiler for a while. Had a chat with my dad and told him about his brother and how he's coping and how I've been looking after him. And I watched the fire go out, and my dad was in a fairly manic mood, so I didn't get a chance to slow him down. Never mind. That's what he's like. So yeah. I'm now very cold. Do you know, I don't understand how this works myself, but I've spoken to people. Is that... What is that? Yeah, I've spoken to people and they say, oh, I like the cold. And I said, what do you mean by cold? Oh, you know, anything more than 15 degrees and I melt. I was like, you're kidding, right? I think that's stone. If I drop it. That sounded like metal. Hey, I did this with a previous video, so let's have an inspection of the fire and I can see things. So I'm going to point it there and I'm going to turn it around, because I'd have to get a very awkward angle and get ash in my hair in order to do this. So see that, and then go there and see that. Now, in the previous video I was saying, oh, I'll just leave it open. It doesn't really work. I mean, it works with wood, but when it comes to the coals, this stove, the way air works in it, it just wasn't drawing properly. So I had to close it in the end, and it was all right. It wasn't fantastic, but it wasn't as bad as I was making it out to be. It wasn't drawing fiercely. Mind you, when it was going fiercely, that may have been due to the storm we had a few days ago, and that would have been pulling any of the air up through the chimney. So because there wasn't much of a seal, that did a number on it. Oh, I should have to get some more coal soon. No. I just brought in some coal for the main fire. Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause it there. Back in the room. So, let's put this oddly shaped stick in. And, yeah, but yeah. as well. And we should be okay. Right. There we go. That's the fire. Oh, and I've had a few decent nights sleep now, as I always seem to do at the beginning of the week, and feeling much better for it. Much more cheerful. Still winter, still miserable time, but I'm able to cope with it. Remember, despair is a sin, and God didn't put us on earth just to suffer. There's more to life than suffering. It's the cheer one can have with your friends. And I think he'd want us to laugh at the way the world is. I'm not actually feeling any warmth from that. I know it looks impressive, but I mean, yeah, if I put my hand like about 3 inches from the flame, so let's see that. That's about 3 inches from the flame. I could just about pick up some heat there, but God, it's one of those days, isn't it? Oh, that's actually better. Right, when that log gets, then I'll kick up some heat. There we go. Oh, look at that. That's fierce now. That'll get things going. Right. Come on, lungs. I've been noticing how laboured my breathing's been recently. It was nice having functional lungs at one point, but then 5 years ago I got an infection, and I've had this persistent phlegmy cough ever since then. So thank you, people that are working on novel respiratory diseases. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks a lot. That was really fun, that was. Oh, and the fun game we had where you go into a pub or a restaurant and you'd be like, oh, you must wear a mask. It's like, actually, I'm exempt because autism. By the way, if you ever read the guidelines, we were all exempt from wearing those masks. You read the guidelines and you'd find where your exemption was in it. But anyway, let's say you wore a mask and you're standing up and you'd be like, I'm in the restaurant now, I'm wearing my mask, and it's like, please wait to be seated. And then someone wearing a mask would escort you to the table. Oh, and by the way, masks don't stop anything. The microbe particles, I won't mention what specific particles they were, but all those microbes are smaller than the weave of the fabric. And they are significantly smaller than a smoke particle, and those fabric masks will not protect your lungs from smoke inhalation. The only people where it really works for them is surgeons and dentists. You wear a mask and it stops your spit from going into a patient's wound. That's the idea of it. You're talking with a nurse or the anaesthetologist, and even if you're not attempting to, you will be spitting as you talk, especially if you're popping your plosives. And yeah, it was a load of bollocks. Right, the absurdity of it. You're in a restaurant, you're wearing a mask because you're up here. Now you're sat down here. Oh, it's okay to take your mask off. Oh, what? It's only airborne when it's like between like 5 to 8 foot. But then when you're down at 4 foot and below, there's no disease down here. No pathogens down here. What a load of bollocks. What if someone farts? I mean, that spreads disease around. You know, if a cough spreads diseases, then a fart certainly does. And if I can smell your fart through a mask, then how's it going to work against someone's coughing or sneezing? What a load of bollocks that was. Can I just say, That social experiment, which we're all subjected to between the years of 2020 up until 2023, really didn't enjoy that. Really not happy about it at all. I'm also not happy about how my lungs don't work so good anymore. That's not fun. Thanks guys. That was a great experiment you did there. Really appreciate that. But anyway, hope you're keeping warm. I'm starting to warm up now. So toodle pip.